Hello and cheers. Welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Lauren, and today I am doing the follow-up. The follow-up, that's the word I was looking for. I'm watching the follow-up of the Kid Nation video from JonTron. This is an interview with Jimmy, lovely, lovely Jimmy, who I felt so bad for, and who also seemed to be one of the only kids there that he showed in his episode anyway. You know, who made a lick of sense. He made, smart kid. He was like, no, I can't do it, and I'm not going to let you bully me into doing something I don't want to do. So, again, cheers to Jimmy. We stan him here. So, we're going to find out what it was actually like for him. I'm really excited to find out how that experience actually shook out. So, if you are excited as well, make sure you hit the big thumbs up button. Give us a like. That way we know that this is the kind of stuff you would like to see. And, let's go.
Hello!
Hello!
The air is getting so large, it is acquiring its own gravity field and/or sentience. This video is brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. That's right, the wallet that holds up to 12 cards as well as cash. With over 30,000 5-star reviews and a lifetime warranty to boot, they're the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. And best of all, they've got over 30 colors and styles to choose from, so you can pick the one that's right for you. So if you're still using a bulky old wallet like this, why don't you head over to ridge.com/JonTron and use code JonTron to save yourself 10% and get free worldwide shipping and returns.
I mean, I use a bulky wallet. That really is cool, though.
Perfect gift for Father's Day.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. I mean, I like I've got a big old leather wallet, but it was expensive.
Which is coming up. Don't be a bad son or daughter.
Last time on JonTron, John took a plunge into the world of Jonathan Kosh and Kid Nation. Today we catch up with Jimmy from New Hampshire to find out if he's still 8 years old and to ask the hard-hitting questions. If you haven't watched part 1, do so now or I'll scream. Link in the description below.
I'll scream.
What may have seemed like the ending there was really just the beginning for us. We had to get down to the bottom of what actually happened at Kid Nation. And I'm very pleased to announce we have a very special guest joining us here today. So everyone, please put your hands together for Jimmy Flynn!
Not 8 anymore.
Sorry, we gotta take precautions here. All right, gonna spray you down first, Jimmy. All right, sorry about this. It's for your own good. Okay, let's go. All right, Jimmy, just come on over this way. Have a seat over there. Thanks again for coming on.
Of course, it's an honor, John.
Oh, it's our
This is a brand wrap.
Look at you. You're all grown up. You're a big boy now.
Yep.
The fuck are you laughing at? You think this is funny? This isn't funny. This is serious. This was child abuse. What happened to you? It's great to have you here. Can I offer you anything before we start? Would you want me to crack you a can of Bush's baked beans?
Sure.
Nice. Sorry. This should hydrate you before we. Oh shit! Oh my God, I'm sorry. So this is the real Jimmy. He's really here. This is him. Jimmy, we have a lot of questions for you. I'm sure everyone watching at home, I'm sure everyone is curious.
I love that they did clean up the beans. The beans are gone. I'm trying to think, how old would he be? I don't want to do math. Maybe they'll tell me. I should probably do the math. 2020. 2007 to 2020, so 18, 19, 20. He's like 20.
I'm curious. We're all curious, but we want to get the real scoop from somebody who's really there. You say your memory's a bit fuzzy then, right?
Yeah, it was 13 years ago, so a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah, so you were 8 then, and you are 21 now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just tell us. What we really want to know is...
Every time I ask a question, then they answer it less than 10 seconds later. Take a drink, yo.
Was it as real as it looks?
So people didn't, so when they say no adults, I mean, they meant no parents. Obviously, there's cameramen and stuff. People thought there was no cameraman or anything like.
That's what I was saying. I figured the cameraman wasn't like a toddler.
I wasn't a robot, yeah.
A robot, or I wouldn't even think of robot. I was thinking like a toddler, but.
Oh.
Wait, so yeah, there's adults manning the stations, the cameras and stuff.
And every now and then they would dictate some things you did. Like so I was on the poor team. Okay.
The poor team?
The poor team.
Oh, you mean like the laborer class?
Yeah.
Do we have that down here? See? There you were. Child feudalism. That's you down there, see? You were there.
Yep, I see that. Mm-hmm.
You were right there in the laborer class.
I was one of the damned, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that. Anyway, so you go on.
So we got I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 buffalo nickels, which was the currency.
Buffalo nickel.
They were just silver with buffaloes on them.
Yeah, fair enough. Currency of the Old West.
And I spent all my money in the candy shop and on root beer because I was 8 years old.
So you were going to a payday advance like right after that, weren't you? You were trying to get a welfare check.
Yeah, I wanted.
You were waiting in the unemployment line.
Yeah, I was, and so I didn't have any money, but like for the most part, I spent all of it, and then
you gotta save, Jimmy. Come on.
I didn't know what saving was. I didn't.
I was 8. I'm way too young for this.
And so some of the cameramen were like, "Oh, look what we found here," and they would kick some dirt and be like, "Oh, it's a buffalo nickel. You should pick it." But they planted it probably.
Oh, for sure.
They just would like throw you more money.
Yeah.
So was it a real functioning economy? I mean, to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, like I would go. I didn't even know we had a general store. I didn't know that. They didn't communicate that with us. I just knew that there was a candy store and a soda shop.
It sounds like they didn't clue you in on much then.
Yeah, I also probably wasn't listening very well because I was 8, and I don't listen.
Jimmy, come on. Did they give you like food that wasn't shown, or did you really have to eat what they cooked?
So for the most part, we ate what they cooked, and they had like it was horrible.
What the kids cooked?
Yeah, it was shit. It was horrible.
I knew it. So they really weren't feeding you. You had to feed yourselves.
To my memory, they fed us one time, and it was after the big.
One of the kids started to look real pale, like
started to numb. After the
Yeah, if someone's gonna get food poisoning, you have to, because oh my god, you have children. Okay, so my mom decided when I was like 10 that we needed to learn how to cook, right? So like over the summer, when again, we were making our own lunches from the time we were like 7. Because she was like, I'm not doing it anymore. You're old enough to hold a knife. You're old enough to spread your peanut butter and jelly, you know? So it's like, I'd been doing that. And then like when I was like 10, she decided it's time for you to learn how to cook. So, we had to decide on a meal, like a full meal, appetizer, entree, side, and dessert. So we had to like decide on that. And then like we had to cook it. And that was like a thing that she started over the summer when I was like 10 years old. And like every year we had to add more meals. And it was I hated it. But honestly, and it was always had to be different. Like you couldn't do the same meal. Like it was like once a month you had to like cook something. And it could not be the same. It could not be the same meal. And honestly, I mean, amazing. Like looking back, definitely an amazing opportunity. It was very clever. Sucked at the time. And there was other she made us do like the summer math workbooks and stuff, and I still haven't forgiven her for that. But like, that one, good idea. But again, I was 10 when that started. And I think the other thing is because my brother didn't have to do it yet. And so I was like just so furious that I had to cook. And he didn't. But like this kid was 8. Like there was like a lot of 8, 9-year-old, 10-year-olds, and they would not know what they were doing. They would have no idea. And like if no cookbooks, even like no recipes, nothing to like, no instructions on the label. Like you have to have somebody there who knows what they're doing to guide you through it. Like otherwise it's just incredibly dangerous. Like especially because they're trying to recreate the pioneer experience. Like pioneers had people who knew what they were doing though. Like there was at least somebody who knew how to cook. I mean, obviously all they wanted was chaos, but still. It's like I said in the other video, like one of those kids had to be a Boy Scout. Somebody had to be like someone knew how to cook over a fire. Like that you have to.
We got trench foot after the like the big event. We came back and everybody, there was no time to cook because we did the event. We were all like freezing because it was very cold. Oddly enough, it's cold in New Mexico at night. And so they fed us, and it was this. I didn't like vegetables very much, but I remember it was a weirdly cooked chicken breast, and then like this purple. I'm assuming it's cabbage now, but I didn't know what it was at the time.
Some purple substance.
Purple stuff, and it wasn't good.
Oh my god!
I did not eat very well. Because other than that, we had.
So the whole
dusty pancakes and molasses syrup.
Sorry to do this again, but I'm like having like these vivid memories now of like going to this church retreat when I was like 8 or 9, like I was about his age, 7 or 8, and Like the food there was terrible. Like the first night was fine. They like bought pizza for everybody, and so like we all had pizza on that night. So I ate the night we got there. And the next day at breakfast, okay, whatever, like toast. But then like God, after that, like I could like all of it was bad. Like it was. I couldn't eat it. I was like, this is disgusting. Just completely inedible. Like, ugh, it was, and I spent that like entire time I was there, like not eating. I didn't eat anything. Like, cause I would try, I would eat a bite or two and I'm like, this is awful. I can't eat it. And then like, if I would go to like the kitchen people or whatever and ask like, can I have some bread? Just like a piece of bread. They would like not have any extra for me. So I was just like, all right. So I spent I spent a few days just not eating at all. And, you know, I so much like that just like memory just popped back into my head. I was like, I was a miserable time. Like, I remember like just like, and I was still doing things. Like I was like doing the ropes course and I was like doing the paddle boats and I was like hiking. I was like still like doing a lot, was very active, but I wasn't eating. And I was just like actively ill by the end of that trip because I could. And then my mom felt really bad about, because like none of them like my parents didn't notice because they were having fun, they were enjoying themselves, and like she just like didn't really clock that I wasn't eating. And so like the next year when we went back, she like just brought a boatload of like snacks and like food so that I would at least be able to eat peanut butter and jellies. So I was like, thanks, Mom. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop pausing so much.
So they just said, children, make your own food, really eat it, and stay alive, and there's no problem with this.
One of the intervention they had people just walk around making sure you're hydrated. They couldn't have people passing out, so
okay,
there was just,
that'd be bad for ratings.
Yeah, they had this one assistant who was always giving me Gatorade. Oh, and they gave us this dust to brush your teeth. You had like little,
what?
You do this and you
could have just picked it off the ground. Dust?
Well, it wasn't dust. It was a
powder
canister with like powder.
It's probably baking soda, baking powder.
Teeth and then spit.
I guess the main question is, to what degree?
I think people used to brush their teeth with baking powder. I think that's a thing.
Was that really like just you versus the elements? How much intervention was there?
There was enough just to get us by, but other than that, I didn't think there was a whole lot. Because I like I said, like, okay, so when I'm sleeping, I had a mattress that was probably this thick, and then a blanket that was the thickness of this carpet.
What? They really did that to you?
I'm like, and then my pillow, I didn't have one, so I used my red puffy coat. I would puff it up and use it as a pillow. And I had long hair, so I got cut in the zipper a few times.
Wait, but that must have been like legitimately scary for you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
I also shared it with like 4 or 5 other boys I just met.
So there was no way out of it until the first town hall meeting, right?
Yeah, you were forced for the first 4 days.
Because I love how they're like, don't worry, this isn't some kind of crazy show. You can get off. Just, you gotta wait like 2 weeks. Like, that's really what they did, right? So that's not fake. You couldn't elect out.
Not that I mean, if I really like threw a tantrum, they probably would. But
suppose you could have run in a different direction until they found you.
They had like a wall of like security people like really far off to like make sure that no weird people or no animals like that.
No weird people.
It was like Hands Across America. Is that what it's called? Movement?
Oh no.
Or something like that. But
yeah.
They had people like surrounding the
a
town.
Chain link like this.
They weren't literally chained, but they looked like they were.
I think I'd be concerned if a weird man just showed up at the border of a random ghost town.
Yeah.
So wait, yeah, no. Did you were there scorpions in there?
I never saw a scorpion. I saw jackrabbits.
A jackrabbit, that's terrifying.
And I tried to murder them.
Oh, I remember
Sorry,
that.
PETA, but I mean, like,
to a certain degree, you can't get all the scorpions out of the area.
I don't know if they put down their scorpion repellent.
Pesticide bomb.
But I didn't see anything.
Did anybody see any critters that were dangerous?
Not that I know of. I think that's what the people. When we were out like jackrabbit hunting, we weren't really far off the area, but like we had obviously people like accompany us. We saw this. I remember seeing like cows and bulls, but they were tagged, so they like belonged to a farm. They weren't wild.
Just wild
they
cows.
weren't. Yeah, I don't know if there are wild cows. But
there are.
Dangerous and a bit rude, if I'm being honest. No, but the thing is, right? Because I was wondering. I was like, because they're making you sleep in these dusty old cabins with like, probably space between the floorboards, right?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised you didn't come across any.
I wasn't there very long, so maybe there's some.
I'm curious. I'm curious if anyone else. If anyone else from Kid Nation knows if there were critters in or around your area, I want to know. That was a legitimate thing that I was wondering about. So you had to feed yourselves. You really were pretty much open to the elements. Like, was it insulated? Was it cold at night in there?
Oh, it was freezing. It was really,
they
really
didn't
cold.
even keep you warm. You
I
only a
shivered.
kid.
I shivered every night.
You shivered.
Yes.
They really genuinely put, like, because like the thing is, I'm just trying to figure out where the line between reality TV and they really are putting a kid in nature.
It was pretty, all right, so we had these crappy old houses, and then they stuffed like 6 of us in there. Thin mattresses, very thin blankets. In the middle of the night in Mexico, it's freezing. I'd have to wear like full clothing. I wouldn't be able to go in like PJs. I had like sweatpants and stuff.
I feel like there were a couple times at camp like that, but it was always like a little bit monitored. On the bus, when you were all coming in,
Yes.
did they tell you where you were going?
No, that bus ride was like 2 hours, and we had no idea. I remember I was just so we were staying at some random New Mexico hotel, and I was on the bus. And I remember just like, I was on the window seat, and I was like looking out the window. And I saw my mom and my sister, and we just like drove away, and I was like, shit, this is real. And then like,
Wow.
and then we drove forever, and they never told it. They were like,
Whose idea was it for you to get on this show?
go on the show. I think it was like my mom's. I mean, like I was kind of interested in acting when I was little, and so I auditioned for this, like the new role, but
You weren't gonna have to do any acting.
Little did I know. And so we went to an audition in Boston, and like they were like, oh, we like you, but you're too young. And that was when I was 7, so it was a year before. And then the next year they were like, oh, I guess they still liked me, so they were like, you're 1 year older, so you're better now.
Well, they called your mom up and said, we got the perfect role for him. We're gonna strand him in a random location. You can't come.
Yes.
If you call the police, we'll come for you. We have people. You got a call from like an acting agency to your mom, and you were trying to do acting. You weren't like,
Well, they do. Like I will say, like that is something that you do have to audition for these reality shows. Like they send out casting calls for reality TV shows because they're trying to make sure that your personality is like the type that they want to show. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a good personality, but you have to be interesting. You have to be at least vaguely charming. Like, you have to get people, and the goal might be to cast you as the villain. You might be an asshole, but like the whole point is like, yeah, you absolutely get notifications from casting agencies, usually not great casting agencies, but like there are casting agencies out there who do casting for reality TV shows, and you do audition, you do send your resume and headshots, and they will call you and be like, yeah, we want you on the show.
I'm so ready for this social experiment.
Yeah, I was more into the playing a character and being in a nice movie set like this or something, and then
You didn't know. Thank you, by the way, for saying this
Instead-
is a nice movie set here in my actual basement. No, but it is pretty sick, though, isn't it, guys?
yeah,
It's sick. It's a
got
sick
it.
movie set.
yeah.
No, but yeah, so you weren't trying to get in a social experiment. Like, did you know that it was going to be, like, real, or did you think this was going to be fake? Like, what was the when you got off the bus, did everybody suddenly realize it's more real than they thought?
I mean, I went in with like a whole different idea. Like I was like, oh, I want to be like coolest kid.
Oh.
Basket. I'm gonna have a fun time. Like I was expecting it to be more like an adventure. Like, oh, it's gonna be fun.
Right.
No
Like,
parents. Let's like drink root beer until like midnight. No one can tell us our bedtime kind of thing. I was like, oh, it's great. I got there. It was horrible.
Right. If I were a kid, I think I would think the same thing. Like, did you have any concept at that age of like, oh, it's reality TV?
You think it'd be like
probably not,
Neverland.
like, totally real.
So I grew up watching Survivor. Like my parents and my
Right.
family would always watch it, and that seems very authentic. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a kid Survivor, but like there was a decent amount of intervention, and I think it was mainly because it was just like everywhere you turn there was a camera. And it's something you don't really realize when you're watching, is that when
Right.
you're actually there, there's like cameramen everywhere.
So, what did your parents think of this whole thing?
I mean, so in the beginning they were all for it because it sounds like a cool adventure. Like, oh, he's gonna go out. Like it sounded like a little bit more extreme summer camp.
See, yeah, well, that's what I said. I thought it sounded like I knew it. I knew that's how they pitched it to the parents.
Yeah,
It was a lot worse. But when I came back, they were like, my mom was very glad that I came home because she didn't realize how much she would like miss me after
Oh.
having to like leave her child in New Mexico and go back to New Hampshire.
And how long were you there from the time you got off the bus to the time you left?
So so I was at Bonanza City for 4 days,
4 days.
and then when I left, I think it was like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I was in a hotel with one of like the PA. Do you call them PAs?
Production assistant.
Yeah. One of the PAs. I was just like in a hotel with it. That sounds really bad. Let me.
That does. I'm gonna. Was he?
We were too
You know, was he hands off? Did he let you do what you wanted?
It's very nice. No.
Okay.
2 different hotel rooms. He was just like, brought me to like the mall. And we like we were having a fun
Aw,
time. Great
okay.
guy.
Hands
Not
off
weird.
or hands on?
Very hands off.
Okay. So has this like followed you? Did your schoolmates find out about this and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I was the only kid from New Hampshire on it, so like it was talk of the town.
Right.
Yeah, it aired in my 4th grade. Everyone was like fine with it. And then I think as we got older and we got into that prepubescent, like, I got a lot of backlash from it. A lot of, yeah.
Backlash. I don't understand. See, whenever I hear about this, like, backlash from, like, wouldn't you think people would be like, oh, that's Jimmy, the sick kid from Kid Nation?
It was like,
you're you got put in the desert by producers. Like, what? Why would they make fun of you for that?
Because I left early and I cried, and they're like, I don't cry.
You were AIDS.
People don't cry. Apparently, I'm the only person that cries.
You were not the only. In the episode that I watched, play the clip. Look at all them crying. Everyone cried. That's what I was gonna say. That's how I felt like I knew this was real. Like half the kids break down eventually. And I'm like, that's what I really want to know. That one scene where do you remember? There's a scene where you're just crying somewhere.
And like that one hurt me. Like the way that he cried like that, just like that, because those like when you see a kid doing those like silent, but like wrenching cries, it's like, how did that cameraman not try to comfort that kid? Because like that's the worst. Like when you cry, like, because you're trying so hard not to be heard, like it's just everything is too much, and like you're just exploding, but you can't share it with it. You hide, and you're just like these silent tears. And when a kid is crying like that, it's so heart-wrenching. I don't know how they didn't try and comfort him.
In the back of a barn.
Did you really run away?
I actually did run away, and then the producers, the Karen, found me like, hey Jimmy, can we film you?
He did.
They have?
That's what I said. I made fun of. It's really what happened.
He came up.
He's just like, yeah, give me more of that.
Well, they asked, like, do you mind if we film you? Like, this will be pretty good. And I was like,
this will be good.
Oh.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I mean, they asked. Okay, I will almost give them props for asking. It's like, because it does sound like, but like, again, you're 8. Consent is not really something you can give. Like, you don't understand what that means yet. So it's just like, oh, this is just so skeevy.
I was like,
this will be good?
Yeah.
What a heartless mom. Like,
Jimmy, I know you have no concept of anything. Your prefrontal cortex isn't even grown in yet. This is going to be great for ratings. Can you keep the waterworks coming?
I was like, whatever it takes.
Honestly, what?
Poor,
Because I joked about that, but I'm like, because my feeling was, you filming an 8-year-old crying, it's not fake.
No.
You can't be like Haley Joel Osment when you see him crying on an AI or whatever movie when he's a kid actor. You're like, okay, so he learned to cry. But when a kid's like, you're like, oh, jeez. I couldn't believe anybody could just sit there and be like, because like silently like.
Yeah, kind of heartless.
Yeah.
Were there any was there a fallout from this? Was there like a lawsuit or anything?
I did not sue them, but they were sued a bunch of times. So kids drink bleach.
Jimmy, this is the first I've heard of that.
So
I'm glad you're here to tell me about it. So you go ahead and tell us about the bleach?
Yeah. So I was not there for that part, but kids don't know how to clean things very well. So they're like, this is dirty glass. Bleach.
You mean they wash the glass?
They instead of washing it with soap and water or just hot water, they used bleach to clean it.
And then drank from it.
And then they didn't wash it out very well. Next glass.
Did they get sick? Did they get sick?
The ambulance came.
Oh my God! Mm-hmm. But was it like a real reaction from drinking bleach, or was it a preventative ambulance?
I mean, there's no way you feel good after drinking bleach.
Wow.
Another girl got burnt, like got really. I don't know how bad, but she had oil burns when she was
still
cooking.
Have her face?
Probably, hopefully, maybe.
Well,
probably not.
You haven't seen it, so maybe it's okay. Wait, no. So she got burned how?
She was cooking, and again, kids don't know how to cook, so they're like, I need at least 3 cups of oil in this pan.
Oh, and so it sizzled out.
Yeah. It's not deep frying it. They just were trying to cook it, sizzled out.
God.
And I think, pretty sure they got sued for that.
And okay, they should. Okay, look. Like I said, my mom did this whole thing where she taught us how to cook, right? But she was there the whole time. She made sure that we were doing things safely. But you look at things show up on the internet all the time. It's like you get the 5th graders' best Thanksgiving recipes, and it's just clearly they don't know how to cook or what, because they're just like, oh, this is what's in this food, and they're supposed to tell you how to cook it, and it's hilarious every single time. But if you actually get that child to make it that way, someone's gonna be in trouble. Wow.
Those are the only two I know.
Because
of.
I've never heard of it, and when you try to buy this thing online, there's one clip of this show online. Everywhere that it's listed, you can't buy it. It's not for sale. I assume the lawsuits they try to bury this thing.
Yeah, I think so too. But they gave all well, at least me. I shouldn't speak for everybody else. They gave me a DVD of every episode, so I have all of them.
Okay, was there really one bathroom only?
Yes. Well, for the guys, no, because I peed behind almost
Wherever you
every
wanted.
bar. Yeah, I peed wherever I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so was there really just one house for 40 kids?
Yeah, so it was actually right outside my room. And the funny thing was, if I woke up, there was a line of like 20 kids waiting to use the outhouse, and I didn't like.
So that's really real.
That was really real.
Because I was wondering, I'm like, 40 kids?
Yeah.
40 kids, one outhouse? There's gonna be a line. The math shows the line.
Yeah.
And there was 20 kids waiting for the one outhouse.
Mm-hmm. That's why I peed outside for the most part.
Jimmy, see, you really were the smartest one.
Yeah, and then I also.
Girls have a bit of a problem with that.
Yeah, it's harder.
How does a girl pee on the outside?
It's not
On
easy.
the side of the house? Sorry, I didn't mean to spray you there. I gotta just ask one more time. One, there was no other way to relieve oneself.
No, and I did not defecate while I
You
was
didn't?
there.
Jimmy, you didn't drop the kid.
For
Your
4
parents
days.
dropped their kids off, but you didn't drop your kids off at any pool.
I saw the outhouse. I saw a girl come out. I went in, and, and I just saw a lot of poop. And I was like, I can't do
saw
this.
a lot of poop.
So I got out, and I just
It
did not
cracked
go.
open. You saw the scene. You saw the crime scene. You tried to-
I mean, like, look, I get it. I hate outhouses. I mean, I've used them, but like, God, they suck. I'm like, ugh, they're so nasty. Honestly, it's like, I trained myself to not have to go to the bathroom very often when I was like little. I was like, I don't like public restrooms. Don't like outhouse. I'm like, ugh. I'll hold it until we get to a restaurant.
You tried to bleach it from your mind, not literally this time. Wait, so can you just expand on the statement? I saw a lot of poop,
I was afraid that if I sat down, it would go in me.
and you'd get more up in there.
And I didn't want that to happen.
God
so I was
knows
like,
you have enough.
It is
boiling
for
up
okay.
inside.
I mean,
I was like, I can't do
You
this.
don't need an insertion,
Now I look back, I don't know who would ever empty it. So like, it would literally just pile up.
so nobody emptied it.
I don't think so, because when I went in, it was kind of a tower.
It was a tower. I was wondering, like, if this really was. So they genuinely were like, do you want to watch cartoons, kids? Or would you like to have sanitation? Did you guys take showers?
So for the first 3 days, we did not take a shower. But after our big like event, when it had like all the colored water all over us, then we took a shower for like.
Where were those showers?
They had them in like little trailers.
So they could
knew they were
have brought you
trailers.
more porta potties.
Yes.
They just didn't wanna.
Yes.
They wanted to torture you on purpose.
Yes.
Did Jonathan Karsh have his own bathroom?
I think he had his own trailer. I'm pretty sure he had a nice luxury bed.
Okay, I gotta ask you about Jonathan Karsh.
knew it.
It's a creepy, strange alien lizard man, isn't he?
I think it was.
You think he was a reptilioid? Because whenever he was talking to you guys, he was very direct. He was just like, "You are looking like easy pickings down there."
Yeah, he would repeat the same lines over and over again because it would be like, oh, that take wasn't good enough. So he was
Really?
very robotic. He'd be like, in our town's objective is this. And then they'd be like, all right, and say it again. Then he would say, in our town's objective. So he would repeat things over and over again. So we were really like, yo, what the fuck's
You were just
going
like,
on?
"Is this guy like broken?"
Yeah.
It always kind of looked like he was talking at you, not really to you.
Oh, he definitely was. I mean, also, like when I left, he just like towered over me. He was just like looking down. He was like, bye, bitch.
That's how there was a few things, because we do media, we know certain tricks of the trade, and I noticed certain things that were like you could not fake. Like you were looking up at this towering man, like you're giving him this kind of look, and I'm like, my God, Jimmy's truly like in awe, because normally like at that age, adults talk to you kind of in a different way,
They maybe get down to your level and you try to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Nah,
but he's just like,
power figure.
well, I guess you're leaving, little boy. The door is that way. It was weird. I really thought it was weird. Were you creeped out by him?
I didn't feel safe around him. I'll say that.
You got it from the source. You didn't feel safe around Jay Karsh, the king. I don't know if you saw. Here, give me that. We put him right. That's where he was in the feudal economy. He was right there. He was king. Jay Karsh. I call him Jay Karsh. What did you guys call him?
I didn't know his name.
That man. That specter that shows up
Yeah.
and taunts me with stars. So they didn't tell you about the star until you didn't know about it until you left.
I think I knew about it like on the flight home, because when I went in, my mom alluded to the idea like, oh, maybe you'll be able to win money. So they might have told her. I'm gonna confront her about that.
How'd you feel when you found out you lost a chance at the star without even knowing?
I was a little bit pissed. I was like, because they didn't tell it. I don't know if that would have kept me around, but it certainly would have had a fact. It would have had a push to make me stay.
We wondered that because you walked out and then he's like, all right, here it is.
Yeah, I didn't know until like a few days later. I was like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. Do you know what happened to Jared 3 years before that day?
Today has been the worst day in 3 years.
I've been wondering that myself because I'm worried for him. I don't know what happened 3 years ago.
Something really bad happened
Something really bad happened to him,
Yeah,
and I'm scared.
So you said you were on the news about it?
Yeah. So I went on when I was 8, but it aired a year later. And so I was on the news, like, or there were like some fucking news channel, like around the time it was aired, and they were like, oh, we feel bad. You missed out on your chance to win a gold star, so we got you one for the studio. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get money. Oh, I was like, look at this. I was like, wow.
That one's rounded. It doesn't even look like
And it's also
a
a paperweight that I accidentally broke.
paperweight. How'd you break it? Enraged that people keep screwing me over. I'm just a little boy.
I think that's what it was. But yeah, this is probably worth $7.
I could
Not
see
anymore.
That at least you could probably get it for $5.99 on Amazon. Maybe not these days. That doesn't even look like the same kind of star.
Yeah, it's kind of small.
So what are you up to these days? What have you gotten up to?
I'm going out to medical school in the fall.
Wow.
He's going to save lives. See, that's what happens to people who go through traumatic life events. So you're going to medical school for what field?
I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking like oncology right now, but I mean, it's probably gonna change.
Oncology. What's oncology?
Cancer.
Okay, I don't ever do this. I'm gonna pretend I knew what oncology was because I don't want to look that dumb. I know what most fields are. I didn't know the cancer field was called oncology.
It's a weird name. It's a really weird name.
Yeah. So Jimmy, what field are you going into?
Right now I think I'm gonna go into oncology.
Oncology. For all those of you who don't know, that's the cancer one. I knew that. I didn't ask off screen. So you should all feel stupid out there for not knowing that. Okay, so yeah, you're going into the field for like research or actual surgery or what kind of?
I'm thinking like I hope probably both, like research and like clinical work, like working with patients.
Oh,
Nice,
cool.
brilliant. Well, Jimmy, you seem like you're a real nice, cool guy. Has anyone
Thank
ever
you.
described you that way? Told you that?
No.
Has anyone ever been nice to you?
No, people are nice to me.
Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on. But before you leave, we've got a little something for you. We wanted to right this wrong, okay? And we wanted to finally give you that star
For real.
we feel you deserved. That's right. Bring it out, boys. There we go. Sorry, that's the best we can do. We're out of magenta on the printer. We can't go out and get any. Everything's closed. So here you go, Jimmy. How do you feel? There it is. That QR code. You just scan that. One free Big Mac. No drink though. I'm sorry. Let me disinfect that for handing it over to you. Gotta be a bit thorough there. All right. There it is for the big guy.
Say
How do you feel, Jimmy?
complete.
Complete.
You scan that code. One free Big Mac. No drink though. I'm sorry. We got to work with the times where. Yeah, hold that up. Wow. All right, Jimmy. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me, John.
For sure, man. I don't know if you can tell. I'm not an interviewer. So I just have one final question for you. What do you regret more, Kid Nation or JonTron?
This has been a pretty shitty experience.
Yeah, fuck you, dude. I'm gonna kill you for this.
All right. He did seem cool. I hope he's doing well. I would be curious though, to get the DL from some people who were there a little longer. That could be interesting. To like see some like someone who was there for a little bit longer, just to like I don't know. Curious. Very curious. I cannot believe that was allowed to get made. Like, just, oh gosh, so many lies would have had to have been told for that. Okay, well, that was I appreciated that. If you want to see more stuff about that, about Kid Nation specifically, or like in this style, let me know in the comments below. You can also, join our Discord. The link to that is in the description box. Make sure you give this video a like, and it would really help us out if you would subscribe to our channel. That way you'll always know when we post new stuff. We do post new videos every single day. And if you want to be the first to know, you could absolutely join our subscription. Just be a subscriber. That works. Also, you can, if you want to have a little bit more agency in the things that we do put out, you can also become a patron. You do get to participate in some polls. You get first priority when it comes to suggesting videos. You get some stuff early, like all sorts of fun stuff if you're a patron. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Sorry, I know I paused it a bunch. I'm trying to work with not pausing things so much, but I did. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.